Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. I'm your host, Michael Tabor. So this will probably be my last video for tonight. And I know people say I talk about Joe Rogan too much, and I do. I love the guy. I'm probably one of, I don't know, how many people out there have listened and watched every single Joe Rogan episode. So I just finished the Dan Aykroyd. That was so fun. But let's see. So that's Joe Rogan, his latest podcast with Dan Aykroyd, 1,351st podcast. And that's not included 1,351, and that's not including all the MMA episodes and the fight companions and all that. So I've listened to every single one of the podcasts in its entirety. I always say I listen to every minute, every podcast. It's not exactly accurate, but it's not too far-fetched, And I was there from the beginning, December 24th, 2009, Joe's first podcast, Brian Redband. So, you might think, like, it does sound kind of silly, like a guy my age being like a kid in a candy store. It's like Christmas morning, every listening to Joe, and I really get excited about this. He is so fun. And the stuff he talks about, like conspiracy theories, and like with Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd is a huge UFO guy. Joe just talks about everything. God, the existence, science. It's just so fun. I mean, there's never been a show like this, in my opinion. Someone told me, good friend of mine used to listen to Art Bell. I heard him a few times, but I never got into it. So Art Bell had all that kind of like science fiction and, really out there stuff, conspiracy theory, really UFO stuff, and that's so fun. I love that. But so yeah, I guess there've been other people who sort of touch on some of that stuff. So anyway, today, Madeline and I we're going to get my vitamins, and I go to GNC to get my Nugenix testosterone booster and some B vitamins, all that stuff. And a young man in his early 20s, we were talking about Nugenix and the keto diet, and the young man says, yeah, Joe Rogan talks, and I go, Joe Rogan, and he goes, are you kidding me? He goes, he's like, we all listen to Joe. Like, this is the appeal. Joe appeals to all age groups. You got Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, even baby boomers, and old fucks too. So he has this mass appeal, the whole demographic, and it's incredible. With the young people, love him because Joe's like a hip guy. Joe, he can be, listen, he even says like he's an immature fuck, like he's a comedian, and all that. All comedians are immature on some level. They're just, as I said before, very intelligent people acting silly. But he has this way with young people too. But then again, he could talk to guys who were like John Anthony West, the Egyptian who passed. He was like 87, and Bernie Sanders. So Joe knows he could be silly and act like a juvenile, but then he could, So this young man was saying how much he loves Joe, and that they actually go to parties. Like, can you imagine? Like, today's Friday night. Going out with their friends, or into a party, and they listen and drink beer and smoke, and party and with girls and everything, and they listen to Joe Rogan. He said last Saturday we had a group of like 23 boys and girls, like young men and women, it's college age, high school, whatever, and they were just partying, and instead of music they had Joe Rogan on. I mean, that's how huge Joe is. So it's like I'm not alone. I mean, it's like he really is something special, So that's all I have to say about that. So I know it sounds like I'm just constantly promoting Joe Rogan, but I can't say enough about him. I love the guy. He's just the best, So, all right. On that note, good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk.